Well, this is my second time going live. I had to separate the cats because they were doing their cat thing and fighting. So, I was like, I refuse to have this on my channel. So, we're trying this again. Hi, Kamilah Rose with the Bliss Institute. And I'm here to talk a little bit about Libra season and a lot of bit about planning for the next year because I turned 32 in October 16th. So, first, Libra season. How to survive, how to thrive. There's really just one thing you have to do, just one. You have to tell the truth. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with others. You have to live authentically, be sovereign, stay true to yourself. And then you also have to carry this out throughout the year. So this is not something where it's just during Libra season. They're like, okay, I better be on my good behavior because it's Libra season. No. Libra season is when the karma comes back. So, this whole exposed, this person exposed, that's Libra season. It's pulling that wool off your eyes. It's that heading down into the underworld. And it's that you can't do that without telling the truth and relinquishing kind of that mask or cloak that you wear. So think of the Inanna myth, the Sumerian myth. And so during that myth, Inanna is traveling into the underworld. And to do so, she has to relinquish one of her means at each gate. There's 7 of them. And so this is basically her being exposed. And this is what happens during Libra season. So if you've kind of been maybe not telling the full truth, if you haven't been really on the up and up, this is probably when it's going to start to kind of, those cracks are going to show. People are going to start to see that maybe this person isn't what they're all about. So this honesty and this authenticity is something that you have to incorporate into your personality and who you are and stay consistent with it. That way, when Libra season comes around, you don't really have anything to worry about and you can just continue to go forth with that. And then you reap the benefits. The karma comes back for a positive reason. And that's fantastic. Then, if maybe you have been exposed, people are seeing that there's more to you than meets the eye and it's not all that great. The best thing for you to do is own it. Own up to it. Just say, yeah, I did this and it probably wasn't something I should have done. I regret doing this. I tell the truth. So if you don't regret it, if you're not sorry, if you do it again, don't say maybe you do it again, but just, own that you did it. Yeah, I said that. Yes, I did that. Yes, I was there. And go from there. Just be really honest and be authentic because that's what is needed to be able to kind of get to the core of what's going on and why you're behaving the way you are and how to actually be able to make that change that Libra season really wants to do. It wants us to be able to be real and honest. So that's it. That's it for Libra season. Now moving on to planning. So I turned 32 on October 16th. I'm very excited. I had a trip that was planned. I was going to go to the Temple of Sekhmet in Las Vegas, and I was going to head over and see the Grand Canyon, and I was going to go to Sedona, Arizona. It was going to be a nice little trip, and I scratched all that because I'm going to go to Singapore and Bali in January, and then I have every intention and the plans to go to Egypt for the 33rd birthday, so next year. So I was like, well, I'll save my coins, and this is how I'll kind of be able to do something that is a little bit more fulfilling for me. So that means that this year I will be here and then I'll be in Austin, but that's for a work trip. So I still get to go somewhere, which will be nice. It's just that I'll be able to take off for the actual birthday, and then the days after those I'll be working. But it's on topics I really enjoy, so it's not that bad. But I've been thinking, because I was like, okay, 32 doesn't necessarily feel like that big of a deal. And I know most folks are like, oh, when you turn 30, that's a thing. But for me, when I turned 30 and it was like that Saturn return really ended and was fully complete, it was like all of the blocks I had felt internally, all the things I felt like I was experiencing just disappeared. It was like they didn't exist anymore. And I felt unburdened, like I could actually move forward, like I could actually follow through. I didn't doubt myself. I wasn't, just concerned with these things. And Saturn return is every 20, it's 26 to 29 years, kind of a little bit roughly in between there. And then, so it's about 26 to 29 to 30, and then it's about 56 to 59 to 60. And then if you make it that far, it's about 87, 86 to 90. And it's basically where Saturn returns to the point there was in your birth chart when you were born. So you'll look and see what sign it was in, and then you'll look and see what house it was in, and then that will let you know kind of a little bit of what you're working through, like a big lesson for you, some core wounds and things like that. And then you'll be working on how to kind of move through that. So my Saturn is in Sagittarius is it in Sagittarius? I'm pretty sure it's in Sagittarius. And I believe the third house or the fourth house. It's about being heard. It's about finding my path and understanding my quest for knowledge and adventure and for travel, and just that thirst that I have to learn and to explore, and then to feel free to do so, and to not take on that kind of scholar in the ivory tower and be so disconnected from things that I'm experiencing them, but I'm not internalizing it and kind of taking it on. So it's just more external to me, and I'm not like feeling it. I'm just intellectually engaging with it. So that grounding is necessary, and that really being able to let myself be heard. And then when you couple that with anything that's going on with your Chiron, your wounded healer, it just kind of exemplifies all those things. And so my 30, I was excited. I was happy. I was thrilled, joyful. I think I just spent it. I went up to Oklahoma. I live in Texas. So I went up to North Texas. Went up to Oklahoma, spent the weekend there. It was great. 31. I was in Glastonbury, and I was in Britain. And so that was fantastic, and spent some time up in New York. And then this year, the plan is I'll take some time off for work, leave a little early for this trip, and I think I'll try to go spend the night in the Enchanted Rock State Park, so I can go and do some climbing and spend some time in nature because I love it. If that doesn't work out, then I will see if maybe I can still leave early and go to San Antonio. But either way, I'll just be kind of spending some time on my own because I have that work obligation coming up on Thursday and Friday. And so I'd like to spend a little bit of time bringing in the birthday on a light note, and really kind of grounding myself. Like I have a couple of different reset times during the year: birthday, Gregorian calendar, New Year. I pick the New Year. I really like starting off new and setting new goals during the winter solstice, which I know is very not super unusual, but unusual. Most folks who are, if they're not necessarily following that Gregorian calendar, are looking at the spring equinox for a new year. But I just like the idea of like that winter solstice is when you are at the deepest part of the underworld and you're turning back around to start that path back up. And so it's not necessarily a rebirth, but it's the ascendance. You're starting to come back up, to leave the things that you no longer need behind in the underworld, and to start that journey up. And I just really like to have that when you hit that seventh gate in the underworld, at that winter solstice, is when you really you have unpacked everything. You've laid everything at those gates to be able to come here and be in this space and to find renewal and to authentically look at what your desires are and where you want your life to be and the path and the things you are willing to do to get there. And so I really like using that time to really set those goals for the next year and then be able to still have that opportunity when I'm coming back up from the underworld heading towards spring equinox to be able to decide, do I want to pick some of these things back up? Maybe they were things I left behind, but I really actually want to keep them. They served a purpose, and all things do serve a purpose. It's just whether that purpose is propelling you forward and helping you to get closer to your goals, or keeping you in a safe, healthy space, or if there's something that is kind of keeping you stagnant and in the same place that you've been when it's time for growth. And so I just like really having that awareness and taking that time then. So this kind of new year that's coming up at this solar return, this birthday of mine, and it's 32. Whoo, 32. It's not the 32, it's the 33 I'm really excited about. But it's the 32 being the stepping stone and the building point to get to 33. And like, what does that mean? And part of that, I know for sure. So I started my financial journey, and I like to divide up my goals. I do a spiritual, financial, social, career, and then physical, which is like a health and wellness. So diet, exercise, those types of things. And so I'll divide them up and pick different goals for each one of those, or objectives, and then get some, more pointed ways to meet those goals over time. But I've really started and honed in on the financial goals this last June, and I'm chugging away. It's going really well. I'm using the Dave Ramsey inspired trajectory and plan. I'm not necessarily following it to a T because I think that's a little extreme for me, and I don't work well for those types of things. If it's too strict and too limited, then I will rebel against that. And I'm working on creating that discipline because really, truly, I realized that I think it was about 2016. I was talking to my friend. We have the same birthday. And I was telling her about how one of my biggest issues is discipline. I'm not the best at being disciplined. I can have all the greatest plans. I can make all of the greatest plans. I can really work out a very detailed schedule and work plan. And if I were to follow it, it would totally succeed and be successful. The problem is following through with it. And so that comes in with a bit of work on discipline. So I am going to focus on building better habits and sustaining them with better discipline. But with the habits and starting small, that will help me to be more disciplined overall. I started with simple things like waking up earlier, going to bed earlier. I go to bed super freaking early, but I also get up early. So I go to bed around 9 to 10 and I'm up around 4 to 5. Going to bed earlier, getting up earlier, making sure I'm exercising every day, paying more attention to what I'm spending money on, therefore paying more attention to what I'm eating, making sure that I'm paying off my debt, making sure I'm putting money into savings, and woo-wee, I'll have to talk about the money and the savings bit because that's been a journey. Then looking at my social interactions and my relationships with friends and family and work, and then my avoidance of romantic connections and relationships. So that's a whole thing to deal with on its side. And then looking at the career side. So while I do have my 9 to 5 and I enjoy that job greatly, it gives me a lot of freedom and ability to be creative, which is what fuels me. And I love that it's a very supportive environment. I do also want to have the Bliss Institute, and my long-term goal is to have a retreat center. I would like to be able to offer different modalities and in particular do that shadow work and do a tangible interactive active form of shadow work. So if you need to be grounded in the earth, that's what we're going to do. If you need to feel lighter, then that's what we're going to do. If you need to have that fire and that passion, that's what we're going to do. And if you need to dive into the depths of your emotions, then that's the route we're going to take. And having a space where people will be able to do that healing in a physical environment, I want people to be able to be there and receive the healing and not have to leave the environment afterwards, be able to really like go all in. And in doing so, being able to spend the night, being able to have healthy foods there, but some variety. Like it wouldn't be a thing. It wouldn't be awful to have pizza a night or something like that. This won't be something where everything's all raw all the time or anything to that extreme. It'll be the point is to have healing modalities and healing opportunities and then to support people in that healing. So that's long-term work goal, but I got to get up to that. I got to get more out there. And so that's why I'm doing the lives. That's why I'm on the YouTube. That's why I don't really use Instagram anymore. I've talked about this before. I don't really get social media. Like I get it, but I don't get it. It seems like a lot sometimes. I'm trying to get better at it, but it is what it is. But that's why I'm being more open. And that is something that with this, that's in the plans for turning 32 is to be more available, be more emotionally available, be more, just maybe be more present. I'm pretty present. No, I feel like that's a lot. I feel like I come across as being present, like I'm really paying attention or that I'm really tuned in. But I personally know that I am thinking about all kinds of other things and there's all kinds of stuff going on in my head and I'm not as present as I could be. So I want to be more present. I want to be more aware of what's actually happening and in the moment. And then I also want to be more open to making more connections. I had this really weird thing going on. It's still kind of going on with my car because I decided to be more mindful and take better care of my things. So I've had this thing about parking where I don't want to park by other people per se because I want to make sure my car doesn't get scratched. Well, when people park by me, I'd be like, oh, I need to move, or I go park in the very back. And so now I don't feel as much like, oh my gosh, okay, so I parked by someone. I'm okay with that. I'm still parking in the back though. But I feel more calm with that. And I realize that there's a distancing that I do. I try to keep myself distant from others. One, because yes, it is maybe a not so positive coping mechanisms, but also I feel like I really don't have enough time for the energy I feel like it takes to get into deep conversations. And I need to set time aside because I do want to be present. And if I don't get these things done, like working on the blog and making videos and writing the meditations, which I still haven't posted or edited the Libra new moon, and that was like, it's almost a week old now. But like, if I don't get those things done, then even when I'm with someone, I'm not present because I'm thinking about, I need to be doing this. So I have to kind of get those things worked out. Again, that's the discipline though, but it's also working through why I feel like I have to be productive, producing things in order to feel like I am, not worthy per se, but it's like I need to get these things done in order to get where I want to be, and not necessarily trusting in that we're putting things out there and doing the work when I have time will lead me to the results that I want. So working through a lot of things, but overall, big goals for 2019 for 32 are to really connect to my core authentic self, express that within that, come back to center when I stray away from it, be kind to myself, and then focus on these goals in these particular areas and really follow through with them. So that's about it for the planning for 32. And also I want to make it kind of big because I want it's the lead up year to 33. And I don't know if anything special is going to happen at 33, but 33 feels special in a really good way. I know there's folks who they're apprehensive about getting older, but I have been so excited for 33 for so long. And I don't know why. It's just feels very significant. I know that life path number one of them is 33, and then it goes down to 6. So it's just one of those, master teachers and accepting that energy and that authenticity of who I am. It's going to be really exciting. I'm very excited for it. I just want to really delve deeply into these things that have been driving me and sharing that with others and encouraging others in work and in everyday life and online and through the work that I do with the Bliss Institute, and in sharing that it doesn't matter. It does matter. All of your life experiences matter. And it does matter where you've come from and what you've gone through, because those things have shaped you to be who you are today. But there's always this room every second, every moment to create a new path and to create a new perspective and to create a new experience. And those are the things to tap into and to bring that awareness of. So that's all. I will actually try to work on filming some of those. I know people like to see the actual papers of what you're planning. So maybe I'll do an actual sit down and write them out with me and see if I can get that to work here on the YouTube. But let me know what your plans are. What do you see the new year? And how do you plan out for your birthday and for what you want to achieve in your goals? Do you just do really big goals? Are you kind of taking a bullet journal approach where you just kind of write down what you do every day? How do you plan? How do you set goals? And how do you follow through with them? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, check out the blog, theblissinstitute.org. I've got, we did the journal prompt. So journaling for wellness and health. We've done the astrology for October. That's up on the blog. We'll have, trying to see what's supposed to come up next. Oh, how to decorate and change the energy of your home for autumn. And then that full moon in Aries will be going up next week. So there's a ton of information on there, different divination styles, different just kind of modalities for healing, 12 universal laws. It's all in there. So great resource, great page to check out. I am biased. I don't care. And that's going to be all. I'll see you later. Y'all have a good night. Bye-bye.